All right, guys, I'm not going to bury the lead today because it's sold. It finally sold, and go ahead if you laughed at me when I said I was going to list it for $100. Welcome back to the Hat House, guys. In today's video, we have got the banger sale straight out of the gate that we're going to show you an awesome sale that we had, and then also a bunch of other great bolos to be on the lookout for. Tons of great hat sales in this video, as always. But also, we're going to answer some of your questions in this video as well. One, what other platforms do I like to sell on, and which ones do the best? I sell on Depop, Mercari, and Poshmark. We're going to talk through some of those and which one's the best in which situations. And then also, do I hate selling to other resellers? All right, guys, I'm not going to bury the lead today because it's sold. It finally sold, and go ahead if you laughed at me when I said I was going to list it for $100. It's fine. Go ahead and out yourself now. Put it down in the comments. I laughed at the hat house because he thought he was going to get $100 for this hat. I only got 80 for this Tooltopia Travis Scott hat. I have another one. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere. I'm going to have to list that one again. But the Tooltopia Travis Scott Rock the BOK corduroy hat with the tag still on it. Sold for 80 bucks. Really great sale right here. And never doubt the power of having the only one of something. Maybe I could have listed for 200. Who knows? I set the market. I was going to be happy if I got 50 bucks for it. But I got 80 for this one. Really sweet sale, really cool. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I was really happy about it. All right, next up was a really cool hat too. Midland Rockhounds minor league hat, sold for $18. Really was had a really cool graphic on it, and it was just like brand new. And I think it was like a giveaway night hat, but still, this is a really cool hat. Next up was a combined order. The KVU stuff sells pretty good. It sells pretty quick. Has a really good following. It's usually $15 to $20, but this is a combined 2 KVU visors going out for 30 bucks with shipping. Next up was a Michigan State Spartans, just a little bit different logo and a black hat. Went for $15 on this one. Pretty good sales price for a dad hat. I don't carry a lot of it in my store, but the NASCAR stuff should start taking off a little bit. I rarely get it. I don't pick it up much. I don't know why. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not a NASCAR guy. More of a sports, football, baseball kind of guy. But there are good NASCAR sales out there. This was O'Reilly Auto Parts. $15 for this one. Basically like new. Had the cardboard still in it. And if you sell a lot of NASCAR stuff, I bet you start seeing a little bump here because we're about to start racing. And then we had a nice little combined order of Redskins stuff. This went out for $14. I think the beanie went out for like $8 or $10. So nice little combined order. 2 hats going out for $24 with shipping. Next up was this Washington State Cougars. This was a vintage sports specialties. Went out for $35. This will be the second time I've sold this one. I think the first time it was to a reseller that thought they were going to get more for it. But this is around a $30 to $40 sports specialties hat right here. Even though it's vintage, it's just kind of the plain logo. And usually the ones that have the hits on the side right here, sports specialties, don't go for as much either. Next up was a really cool Coca-Cola hat. This one went out for 19 bucks. Just had the, this was a basic, probably late 80s rope trucker hat right here. Really cool Coke hat. Next up was a vintage Taz hat. It went out for $23 on the Taz hat. Taz hats do really good, $20 to $30. They sell pretty quick. This had the back hit on the Taz as well. And this is the same box I pulled the Wimpy's Popeye hat out of. I still have that hat waiting on it to sell. I got around a $70 or $80 price tag on that. I think I might be the only one that has that one too. But this Taz hat's going out for $23. Good sale. All right, guys, a really fun Monday morning here at the Hat House. We got a lot of your questions we're going to get to. We kind of got backed up on questions. There's a lot that I want to get answered for you guys. We got some combined orders for a viewer that's going to go out as well. A lot of great hats in here too. So let's get to our first question.
Our first question comes from John Doe. It says, the dude buying has the same cost when they go to ship it, so you sound like you are uncomfortable supplying other resellers.
John Doe. I understand that some people got emotional at me taking off the $10 free shipping. I got emotional a little bit about it. So it's not uncomfortable selling to resellers. I do it all the time. I give people good deals on hats that I know that they're probably going to end up flipping all the time. And it doesn't bother me. My point was the $10 free shipping, the math just doesn't work out. If your profit is $3 and you paid $1 or $2 for the hat and you're only going to make $1, that was my whole point with the $10 free ship on items. So the math doesn't work for making any money. I guess if I did that 200 times a day at $1, maybe I could make a couple $100 a day, but I just don't think I have enough time to do that or enough hats. But anyways, we did have an awesome sale that went out to one of our viewers, and his name was
Nick.
Nick bought a pretty good sized lot from us. Maybe Nick's a reseller. It's possible that Nick's going to take a couple of these hats, maybe clean them up even better, and then sell them himself. So made him a really good deal on these hats. Really appreciate him reaching out to me. He had some hats picked out in the store, made him a good deal on them. And of course, we're going to send him a sticker. We got a sticker for Nick as well, Hat House sticker going out to Nick. And we'll get to that order right now and see what all he got. All right, here's what Nick got. We got about 7 hats right here. A few Blackhawks things. You got a Blackhawk t-shirt out of our store as well. So assuming Nick likes the Blackhawks, this first hat up I would only do for a viewer. I hope you guys know this. I will not typically go back into a lot that I've already lotted up and pick one hat out. But since Nick was so nice and a viewer, I went back into a lot and got this Marlins hat out. It was a really cool Marlins 2003 to 2011 that I had lotted up. It was just a little dirty. That's why I was in the lot. Probably needs a little bit more love than I have time to give to it. But a really cool Marlins hat, kind of a tail sweep Marlins. Then you got a Spider-Man hat, and then a vintage Pepsi hat, and then a really cool Seattle Supersonics hat. This one was nice. It was by Mitchell and Ness. And then a really cool Florida Panthers, kind of a tail sweep action on this one too. Logo athletic, super clean on the inside. Really nice hat right here. It was missing the button on the top. So that's why Nick got such a great price on this one. This one could probably be a $30 to $40 hat. Slap a button on top of this one, and you could flip this one pretty easy. Really cool Florida Panthers hat. Panther stuff usually does pretty good, well too. Then we got a Lucky Charms hat, and another Blackhawks fitted, 47 brand fitted Blackhawks hat. So Nick, we really appreciate you combining shipments with us, and I really appreciate your business. And please guys, if you buy a hat from our store, just reach out and let me know so we can get you a sticker. And I don't think I said it, but all that together was $75 for the 7 hats and a t-shirt. So appreciate it. All right, next up was this Clemson Tigers, and I show you this one because it was a Nike hat. Nike, it went out for $15, but the black on black usually does really well, sells really fast. Never have a problem selling most of the time. The black on black logos, they do pretty good and go out of the store pretty quick. All right, next up, I took this one a little personally. What do we got, Mary?
Okay, the next question comes from Big S7743. It says, looks like you're from Oklahoma. I don't think anything good has come out of Oklahoma since Billy Sims.
Billy Sims was awesome. He was a great running back for the University of Oklahoma. But I take a little bit of offense to this because we just watched the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl had 6 players from Oklahoma that were in the Super Bowl on each team. There was a few that were Super Bowl champions. Creed Humphrey is the center for the Kansas City Chiefs. Blake Bell plays tight end for the Chiefs as well. And there's another player or two on the Chiefs. And then there is George Kittle didn't play at Oklahoma, but he is from Norman High School. He was born in Wisconsin, but he went to high school in Norman. And then there is the best left tackle in all of football. Trent Williams plays for the San Francisco 49ers, and he just played in the Super Bowl. And Reba McEntire sang the national anthem. She's from Oklahoma. So there's plenty of great things that came from Oklahoma. So I know maybe you're being tongue in cheek, but I just want to let you guys know that good things come from Oklahoma, including the Hat House. And that leads right into my next hat. How convenient. I did, if have y'all watched my retail arbitrage videos, I think this one came from, was this TJ Maxx? Pretty sure TJ Maxx. So I got these for like $12 at TJ Maxx. Sold for $25, fitted Nike hat, Oklahoma Sooners, and it was size 7.5. Really great size. Really good sale right here. Making close to $10. Not too bad, especially for retail arbitrage. So I might go back and see if they got it anymore. I don't know if this is something that they'll stock all the time, but I see you guys out there. Sometimes you be taking my listings and copying them because I got one coming up. Next up was MLB San Diego Padres. This one was just kind of small, 6 and 7/8. On the 6 and 7/8, I always call them youth because 9 times out of 10, somebody looking for that size is looking for a youth hat. So I just label it youth. There may be some adult males that can wear 6 and 7/8, but not very often. I usually start adult sizes at 7. Anything under 7, I'll call it youth, and that usually helps with the sales on the youth hats. Even though they don't have a really good selling price, it does help them sell. This one went out for $12. I got a couple of nice Oregon Ducks sales as well. The Oregon Ducks with the wings on them sometimes do pretty good. It's kind of an alternate logo that you'll see sometimes. This one went out for $20. Nike team, kind of an older one, Flex Fit Oregon Ducks hat. Patagonia hats are picking up a little bit. So this one went for like $13 on this Patagonia and $12 on this Patagonia. Separate orders, but the Patagonia hats are starting to sell again. They kind of took a drought for a while. Next up was this vintage baby hat right here, probably from, I'm going to guess, the 70s. It really has got to be a piece of nostalgia for someone that had this all over Team MLB baby hat. It had the leather sweatband in here, just looks like it was from the 70s. And this one went out for $20, so really great sales price on this. And on this vintage stuff, you just never know when somebody's going to pay up a little bit to get a really cool piece of their childhood back, like their favorite baseball hat that they had when they were young. Next up was MSN, the Microsoft Network. I bring this one up because whether it's Apple or Microsoft or anything computer related, usually it does pretty well. This one wasn't the coolest hat, but it went for $15 still. Microsoft Network. But make sure you always look up the computer and especially the vintage computer stuff. Next up was this vintage Jordan hat. Went out for $17. It was youth, so that definitely hurt the value a little bit. Sometimes these vintage Jordan hats can be really good, $50 plus sales on a vintage Jordan hat. But being youth, I took the $17. Next up was the Seattle Mariners. A little rough shape, but still different color than you usually see. This is black and white on this one and a little bit older. Pretty good size, 7 3/8. Went out for $20 just because it was a little different colorway. All right, next up was this vintage Operation Desert Storm corduroy hat. Really cool hat right here. Had the rope corduroy, pretty good condition. Went out for like $16. And these Operation Desert Storms, anywhere from 15 to 25, just kind of depending on the style and how cool of a hat it is. But really glad to get 16 for this one. Next up was this carrot hat, and I don't know why this carrot hat goes for $20, but it does. And this is the second time that I've sold it. I got returned once because it didn't fit right. They didn't like how it fit or something like that. But carrots, $20 hats, just an orange hat with the carrot logo on the front. Next up was the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and it went for $15. The reason I bring this up is just you kind of got to know when you have a cool logo on a hat. I know Pistol Pete is kind of harder to find on a hat, so I priced this one up a little bit. So that's why I went up for 15. A lot of NCAA hats like this would just go for like $9 or $10, but I asked a little bit more because I knew that logo would be a little harder to find. Next up was this Detroit Lions script hat, and this one we found while we were doing inventory. We sold another one last video that we'd found doing our inventory. This one had sold and didn't get relisted. Even though you click to relist, it doesn't happen sometimes. I don't know why. But this was a Mitchell and Ness version. Went for $20. Really cool hat right here. We're always looking for this script logo. They sell really well. If you find the sports specialties ones, make sure you look them up. And MLB stuff continues to trend in the right direction. $20 for this new era, kind of a different S logo. Seattle Mariners, pretty clean on the inside. 7.25 Cooperstown hat right here. Next up was this Orioles new era fitted, really cool kind of stripes. Was a little discolored on the bill, but the buyer worked me over for days on this hat. Started at $10. 6 days later, we finally got a 19 on this one, and I think it was a decent selling price. It was a really cool hat, just a little bit of discoloration on the bill, so I think we both got a good deal. Next up was a really cool hat. I had no idea it was going to be a $30 hat. I kind of did because it was cool, but it was Disney. And I just don't run across that many $30 Disney hats. But this was one of them. There's several of them out there on the market too, $35 to $40 ish. So I came in right at 30. Mine wasn't in the greatest shape, and it sold in a couple of days. Chernabog choppers, Disneyland. If anybody knows a little bit more about this, let me know. But I just happened to see that it was a good hat by looking it up. And then also sold around the same time and listed at the same times as Thrasher magazines went for $16. Thrasher hats usually right around the 15 to 20 mark, and pretty cool. They make really cool hats, really cool skater hats. Next up, I show you this one because they used to go for a little bit more, closer to the $20 mark. But these vintage hats they're just going for around $10 now. All the funny humor trucker hats, no matter really what they're saying on them, unless you got a cool American flag logo that is just really awesome. I took $10 for this one and probably will continue to do that until I see a sign that the market for these maybe comes back a little bit. I'm afraid to sell to resellers, but I took $20 for each one of these hats right here. Easily could have gone $30 to $40 a piece. Had a repeat buyer offer me $20 for each one of these, and I went ahead and took it. They always they buy these hats all the time when I list them, and sometimes I'll hold out. Sometimes I'll give them a good deal. Just kind of depends. And I took the $20 each on these. They got a pretty good deal. The cat hats, $30 to $40 could be, and then the Sunnyside Ford hat, probably $20 to $30 hat here as well. But I took their combined offer and $40. Next up was a really nice Nike hat, had Knife River golf course on it, new with tags, white, went out for $17. Had this one for a while. You just never know on the course logos. When somebody is actually looking for that logo, you might sit on them for a year and get $20, or you might sell it to somebody that doesn't care about the logo for $10. And that's really kind of what you're looking for on the Nike hats. How long do you want to wait? $10 to anyone or $20 to the guy that really wants Knife River? Kind of a cool customer story here as well. This went out for $25, but I got offered $10 over and over again by a gentleman that said, it's really in rough shape. I think you should take $10. And then it sold for 25 to somebody that realized how vintage it was and that the leather just kind of looks like this sometimes. And this is the way it goes on these vintage hats. Still $20 to $30 hat right here. Detroit Red Wings. It was super clean on the inside, but did have a little bit of the cracking on the leather. Still a $25 vintage hat at least. And then messaged me back a couple of days later. Hey, what happened to the hat? It sold. Again, another Seattle Mariners, and I bring this one up because it is a really nice diamond collection, new era, size 7, but it is size 7, so that's why I went out for $13. If you got better sizes in these hats, definitely a $30 to $40 hat. Next up is my Patagonia different rule. So this is not like every other Patagonia that you see out there. The bill on it is really flexible. It has a rope on it. It's plain. You hardly ever seen just a plain Patagonia hat, but it is Patagonia. So that's why I asked $40. $40 for this Patagonia hat right here. Really nice. It was lined on the inside as well. So just know when you don't have the same thing as everybody else has out there on the Patagonias, you can usually price them up a little more and need to do some more research. Next up was Ebbsfield flannel. I always tell you to pick these up. This S logo Glasswing. So this was like a company that had their logo put on this hat. Still went for $20 just because it had a cool kind of S looking logo. 7 1/8, so a little bit smaller, But $20 on this. If it was a team, then definitely a $40 to $50 hat. But I took the 20 on this one, and it was a little bit damaged on the side. Next up is the reason I don't really sell a lot of NASCAR stuff. I just don't find a good selling price on it, to be honest, most of the time. Some of you guys do. Some of you guys do well with it. But this Jeff Gordon, nice leather, awesome condition, went for $17. And like the Detroit Red Wings, they went for 25. But Jeff Gordon one, you can't get but like 17 bucks on it. But still, really cool sell. Happy to get the sale, but I just don't find as good a sales price on NASCAR stuff. Do you guys see anything different? Next up was this Seattle Mariners hat, and I think I talked about it on an unboxing video. But and I knew to price this one up a little bit. It went for $30, 7 5/8, which is an awesome size. But also this mesh material, kind of harder to find, and of course it's a different, cool looking colorway, and almost in like new condition as well. Probably been worn a couple of times, but I just knew this was a $30 to $35 hat at least. And glad to get it on this one. And always don't be afraid to mark up your hats that are a little different. All right, let's get to the cross-platform sales that we had today. We sell on Mercari, Poshmark, and Depop are the three that we use besides eBay. But let's go to our question first because it has something to do with this.
Yes. Joe M. Bells asked, what platform do you like to sell on the most? We are on Mercari and eBay. Although we get more eyes on eBay, Mercari is hassle-free. Would love to hear your opinion.
Definitely. Out of those four, eBay is the king, probably always will be the king on getting you the most traffic. Sometimes you do have to deal with returns and such. Mercari, they can return on Mercari as well. I've had a return from Mercari. So it is possible for them to do that, but it does seem like it happens a lot less than it does on eBay. So if I was ranking things, I would definitely rank eBay number one, no question. But we really want to know about the other ones. Poshmark, I have noticed that the sales price on Poshmark is typically higher when we do sell something. You will get some lowball offers there as well, but things will just sell sometimes. And that's really more for kind of fashion hats. And I'm going to show you a kind of a fashion hat coming up that we sold on Poshmark. And if you have a really kind of high fashion type of hat, it will do better on Poshmark. Depop, if you have it's probably the one I would rank the lowest. The traffic is not as good on Depop, and it takes a while for things to sell on Depop. But if you have something super cool, and I find that I can get better sales prices on Depop as well. But it has to be pretty cool. It can't be just a regular OU hat that you put on Depop. It typically won't sell. If it's super cool that people want, then Depop is pretty good. But if it's just basic items, Depop can take a long time. Mercari, I would rank second. So Mercari, if you're just selling everyday items like you're selling on eBay, Mercari is pretty good for just everyday basic items. Like you said, it's really easy. That you print the label there. I really don't have any problems with Mercari, and probably the volume on Mercari is probably second. So if I'm ranking them, it's definitely eBay, then Mercari, then Poshmark, and then Depop. But all of them are a little bit different in its own ways. I would say Mercari is just kind of a eBay light, and then Poshmark and Depop kind of need to be more specialized if you're going to list a lot on those platforms. And speaking of listing them,
Yes. The easiest way for us to do it is Vendoo. It's just a few clicks, and then you can list on all four platforms. Our link to the Vendoo, if you want to give it a try, is going to be below. We list on Vendoo every day. We try to list everything that we've listed on eBay onto Vendoo, so it's the other three platforms get covered at the same time. It really works for us. We haven't really had any problems with it, except for a few glitches here and there, but
yeah, the cell detector works pretty well. It works best if you pull it up every day and you just double check it. If you'll pull it up when you go to do your shipping, you just scan through everything that it says sold. And then if you see something that wasn't, then maybe investigate it. But it picks up 99% of them. Sometimes your accounts will become unlinked. So that's really the part that you got to make sure and just check every day when you do your shipping. You pull up Vendu, make sure all your accounts are linked still, and then it usually pulls in all of the sales data from all those. So that's the really cool thing about Vendu and the auto sales detection. It works pretty well. The other thing, like Mary said, uh, it's easy. For hats, it's super easy. It's just click, 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 and it's onto the other websites, because we don't have to really worry about sizing. Don't really have to change categories or do anything like that. The only real extra click is Mercari sometimes, because it doesn't pick up a lot of the brands, and then an extra click to hit the shipping charge on Mercari. But Vendu is awesome for that. And to get onto those other platforms, super easy. So if you can, check it out. It's in the description. We always appreciate that when you click on any links that we have. And any other questions like that about Vendu or the other platforms, make sure you reach out. All right, here's what I'm talking about on Poshmark. This Stussy hat went out for $30 on Poshmark. No lowball offers, nothing. Just sold $30 because it was really cool. Had these flowers all over. It was branded Stussy, so it was real. It was legit Stussy. $30 on Poshmark. Great sale right here. And I will mention it again, when you sell it on Poshmark, just use a priority box. Since the label's already priority, save 50 cents, use a priority box. These are 7 by 7 by 6, and they work pretty well for most any size hats. Not my preferred size if I was shipping 100 hats out, but it definitely works to save 50 cents and get the buyer a hat in the box. And this one didn't sell for much on Poshmark, but you can tell it's just kind of really high fashion. It had the bling on it, had the flames, NHRA, drag race. I think it was like $8 or $10. Not a huge selling price, but definitely something to catch your eye on Poshmark. And going out on Depop for $8.50 was this Patagonia hat, just a regular mesh, unstructured Patagonia hat. Okay, so the last 3 were Mercari, and some pretty good sales on there. So we sold 3 on Mercari, 2 on Poshmark, and then 1 went out on Depop. This was a Nike hat, brand new with tags, in our Marshalls slash Ross haul. I think we actually got these at Marshalls for 12 bucks. Sold it for 29 on Mercari, new with tags, brand new Oklahoma Sooners lightweight Nike hat. And then also on Mercari was this Teddy Fresh. I'm told he's a YouTuber, probably bigger than me. So maybe check him out. I don't know what kind of stuff he does being Teddy Fresh, but it's kind of a denim hat, $13.50. And then last up today was this Oregon State Beavers. Really cool Nike True hat. Went out for $17. Tell you the Nike True does pretty well. Nike always does awesome. But Oregon State Beavers, 17 bucks.
Okay, our last question of the day comes from Insurance Man 100. It says, I listed a UPS hat a few weeks ago on eBay and they took it down, even though there were a bunch listed just like mine. I didn't put vintage in my title, is the only thing that was different. Do you relist?
No, definitely do not relist anything that eBay takes down. If they find out, that's the quickest way to get banned. Don't relist anything that they tell you not to list, even if other people are doing it. That if you don't follow directions, it's the fastest way to get permanently kicked off. So we got a Vero for, what was it the other day? Remember we did a video about
Yes, Titleist, a Titleist hat.
a Titleist hat that had CarMax on it. So I'm never going to list CarMax Titleist again. It's not going to happen on any platform. So don't do it again. The other thing that I'll say is I have the same problem. Look at all these United States Post Office hats. Look at all these United States Post Office hats that I have in here. I got tons of them. I usually put these, the vintage ones, I will put on Depop and I'll put on Mercari, but I'm not going to go through and list 20 of them at the same time. I'll put a vintage post office hat up. If it sells, then we'll list another post office hat. But definitely I'm not going to go out there and put 30 post office hats up for sale and wait for them all to get dinged. If they do, and don't sell the new stuff. If it is like the current season or what they're currently wearing, it's going to be a lot harder to defend yourself if you do get into a situation that it gets taken down. So just be careful out there. Protect your eBay accounts at all costs. I don't put any post office stuff or anything like that. I have like fish and wildlife hats in here as well. They sell really awesome, but I'm not going to put them on eBay because it is not worth it. They were probably a $30, $40 hat, but not going to do it. So take care of your eBay account out there, guys, and we'll see you soon.